Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Want to improve your organization's customer service? Looking for insider tips to knock your customer socks off? Then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Yannick Grant.
Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. On today's episode, we have with us Burt Campbell. Burt, from journeyman cabinet maker to fitness entrepreneur, having built one of the fastest growing fitness brands in Australia, is a man on a mission, and he's living the dream life of a young and successful entrepreneur. Impacted and inspired by the passing of a childhood friend, Burt is now taking his mission to the next level, helping the generations of entrepreneurs and professionals realize their true potential and assume a life of freedom and abundance that is possible for all who dare to take charge of their destiny. Burt's mission is to help over 100 million people discover, design, develop, and deliver their passion and expertise to the world so they can make more money, help more people, and ultimately live a lifestyle of their design. Burt is also the owner and CEO of Fiit International, a global health and fitness company whose products and services have helped over 45,000 clients, and the Authority Academy, an online community for internet marketers, coaches, speakers, and small business owners. He is also the founder of the Unleash Your Greatness movement, an international live event series to help others pursue living the life of their dreams. Having grown up in New Zealand, Burt now lives in the Gold Coast of Australia with his lovely wife Emily and their two pugs, Burt and Pugsley. So without further delay, welcome, Burt.
Thank you so much for having me. Fantastic to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck in.
Awesome. So before we get into the real meat of the matter, we like to give our guests an opportunity to share a little bit about their journey. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey, what you've gone through to where you are today?
Sure, I'll give you the quick snapshot process to that.
No problem.
So I'll add some context to it, though, because I think it's very important, and it does start back at the age of 5 years old. And I remember I was born in Australia, and we were living in a caravan park, so a trailer park for all our American listeners there. So we're living in a caravan park, myself, my sister, my mother, and my father. And one day, I remember it was a sunny day, and I was playing outside, and I heard my name yelled out, and I was like, Burt. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Right? I was that little rascal type kid. And I ran into the caravan, put my head through the caravan window, and it was my mum yelling out my name. She's like, Burt, run across the road right now and get some help. I'm like very confused, right? I was startled. And what I was witnessing was my father had his hands on my mother, and he was about to throw her through the window. So he just got back from the local tavern, the pub, so he was drunk, and this was sort of a regular occurrence. And I ran across the road and got some help, and that was the last memory that I ever had of my actual father. Shortly after, my mother and my sister and I jumped on an airplane and moved to New Zealand to start a new life. I share that with you purely because at that age, I remember clearly and vividly saying to myself that I'll do everything I possibly can in my power to make sure that my mother and my sister never have to worry ever again. So I basically assume the responsibility of being the man of the family, and that's quite a big responsibility for a young boy to take on charge. But I'll tell you this, it's been the driving force of every single thing that I do in my life. I went through school, kicked out of high school. I was the kid that talked too much. I got a call to the principal's office. They said, Burt, it's probably better off that you just leave school now. I got to a point where I'd walk into the English classes, and my teacher would point to the hallway, and she'd go, you're sitting out there today. And, I got to a bit of a point where I was like, okay, maybe school isn't the best place for me to harness what I was supposed to be doing on this planet, which again, at the time, I didn't have a clue what that was, but I fell into an apprenticeship cabinet maker. I became a cabinet maker, like you mentioned there in the intro. I stayed there 5 years too long because I knew from day one that wasn't what I was meant to be doing on this planet. I was good at it, and I became really good at it. In fact, I became the best in the factory, and I was grooming to then take over ownership of the factory, etc. But the reality was that was something that I knew I wasn't meant to be doing. And there's too many people on this planet right now in a job, in a career, doing a course at university, doing something right now that they know that that's not what they're meant to be doing. And at the time, unfortunately for me, I didn't recognize that quick enough. Anyhow, jumped on an airplane, left New Zealand, moved to Australia and started a fitness company. I started as just a solo personal trainer. I was trading time for money. I was training people. Then I learnt what and uncovered what online internet marketing was. And, we haven't looked back since. We built a franchise. We built so many different products and services, actually about 16 different product services that cater to the health and wellness industry, ranging from a franchise to an education school to online products and services. And then I found the love for online marketing and building business, then the natural transition of people asking me how I've done it and can I help them, which then led into what we call the Authority Academy, where I now help entrepreneurs and business owners follow what we call our Authority Roadmap, which is a unique framework that can help anyone out there who has a passion, a skill, knowledge. How do you actually take that and then turn it into a business so you can actually generate a very nice, comfortable lifestyle around that?
Awesome. Wow. So you have had a very exciting and adventurous journey thus far that has led you to where you are today.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a number of things that have happened, and the reason why a lot of these things have happened is I'm the guy that, you hear the saying, ready, fire, aim. I'll let off about 20 rounds first, so I'll fire. Oops, I'm ready, and then aim. Hence the reason why I've been able to do so many things, because I have had that attitude from day dot. Which I think is ingrained in us, that, I just don't give up. I just keep moving forward. And hence, I share this. Actually, I've just written my first book as well. And I share this in there going, I think we work on the right things just at the wrong times. And it's something for entrepreneurs and business owners to really be aware of. And with the opportunities that we have right now with the online landscape and how easy it actually is to be able to get your message in front of people, too many people I see right now are working on the right things, such as maybe it is the right thing for you to be learning social media and Facebook and all of these things. But if you haven't got the foundations, you haven't actually understood what your business is even about, why you're actually doing the business that you're doing, you can certainly be like I was. We built a franchise to 35 locations in 6 months. Then I realized that, maybe this franchise thing wasn't the path that I really wanted to go down.
True. So in doing some of the businesses that you've engaged in over the years, how do you feel about customer service, customer experience, both as a customer and as a service provider?
I think it's imperative. I talk about this in our Authority Roadmap as it's actually the second pillar, which is customer and community. And inside of that, we talk about this concept called your client's perfect journey. What's the dream come true experience? And I think it's imperative, whenever I'm working with anyone, it's like, okay, let's outline from the first time someone hears or sees anything about you, what does that perfect journey look like from there on? And I think it's, too many entrepreneurs, business owners, and look, I'm going to put my hand up here because I was that guy too at the start. When I heard about all this online, you can generate thousands of leads, easily online. I started to not look at each lead as a person. I was looking at them as just another number. Right. So, we've generated close to 500,000 people on our databases, and at the start, we're generating, maybe 1,000 leads a day, 2,000 leads here and there. And I was just looking at them as a number, right? And this is a very, very, very important distinction I want to make. And I hear it so much now with people complaining about social media going, I've only got 3 likes on this post that I did, or, I've only got 200 people engaged with this post and it used to be thousands. What we need to stop and remember is there's 200 people, or 5 likes. That's 5 people who have engaged with your stuff. That's 5 of, me and 4 other people. I mean, that's people have taken the time out of your day. So I think it ties back into the customer experience. You must first know that each customer is a human being with a soul. With our own issues. And once you can really grasp that, I think it's super important in the overall journey of a customer, because what's the goal of business is to get repeat customers, right? Is to have people staying, paying and referring into your business.
True. Very true. So as it relates to your fitness company, like I'm a big believer that you have to be well in the 7 dimensions of wellness, and health and fitness is so important. How do you think that plays a role if your employees are more healthier, not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually, so that they can really be a well-rounded employee in order to perform in your business?
Oh, I think it's imperative. I talk about this concept. Actually, again, my latest book I've written is called Right Now. Why not you and why not now? And it's all about taking action right now, not tomorrow, not next week, next month. And one of the pillars we talk about in there is this concept of the 4 Ps, which comes under the developmental phase. So I believe that there are 4 things that we as human beings, and I know your question was employees, et cetera, this all ties under it. We must develop 4 key areas. There's the physiology, there's our psychology, there's our personal knowledge, and our productivity. So as an employer, it's integral that we're teaching and we're training our employees in the 4 key areas. So health and fitness is one. It's imperative. If you've got someone eating terrible food and you can see that they're sluggish after lunch, and you need to have those conversations and go, well, look, how's this affecting your productivity? How's this affecting your focus and energy moving forward? Because it's all about team culture, I think, as well. Is you got to lead from example. You can't walk into the office with a pie and expect other people. And I'm not saying any employer should say this is what you have to eat if you work here. I'm just talking about the education around, hey, I've been noticing that at 2:00 you're getting into a bit of a tired patch, or I could just see your energy shift, and you could see productivity drops, etc. You need to address those things head on. But physiology, like you said, is health and fitness is one component of it. That it really comes back to that psychology as well. And teaching and training your employees to become aware of what's actually happening as well. When we're talking mind-body connection, when we're talking how they're feeling, etc. So, I mean, I could go down any path there, but I don't want to hijack your episode here, so you keep me on path.
No. We want as much feedback as possible because we want to arm our listeners with the right ammunition so that when they finish listening to this episode, they feel energized to go and try something new and do it right now, as your book says. Why put off something for next week or next month that you could do today? Mm-hmm. All right. So my next question to you, Brett, would be in terms of customer experience. Now, you mentioned in the beginning of your introduction, you were stating that there's a lot of online opportunities, and you were saying at some point, sometimes you do things that you're meant to do, but maybe not at the moment that you're actually doing it. Now, let's say you're a business owner and you are now branching out from brick and mortar into an online space. Maybe not fully online, but you're definitely trying to test out these online waters. What are some important considerations do you believe an online business owner needs to take into consideration to be successful?
I think it comes back to, and this ties into online, offline, but first of all, I think every single business now is an online business regardless. Do they produce and deliver their product deliverable online? I think that's what probably classifies more of a capital letter online business. But I think that the biggest things, once again, is the beautiful luxury that we have with the online space is you can get feedback very, very quickly. So we can create, sure, whether it's an opt-in page or we've created a product, you'll know fairly quickly. All we need to do is send some traffic to a page, and we could know within an hour or 2 hours whether or not that's going to work or not. So whilst that is a luxury, it's also an Achilles heel for many online businesses, because we get lazy, we get complacent, and we just get happy with the results. So I just ran our Authority Academy event here in the Gold Coast 2 weeks ago. And one of the things that I share with people is this concept of split testing, right? We all know that we need to do that. Right. Again, the luxury that we have with it, it's so easy. Literally in 50 seconds, you could have a brand new page split testing off against the other, and you could let the software that you're using define it. But I share this case study where we were converting, one of our pages, opt-in pages, was converting at 48%, and that was over about 20,000 conversions, so it was pretty steady. And then I Because again, 48%, most people I know would take 48% every day of the week. And that's what I was doing. I was like, cool, we just keep running traffic to it. And then, of course, something triggered me to go, we should really be split testing this. And then we split tested a page, and funnily enough, it actually converted at 58% over about 10,000 conversions. And, again, think about that number for a minute. Over 10,000 opt-ins. There was 10% different. We're talking about a lot of money when you're talking from the money that you're investing to pay for the or to generate a client, but you're talking about the missed opportunity as well. Now, let me tie that back in because it's a bit of a mouthful, is what we need to be aware of when you're embarking online is the easeability to be able to create and execute on something, but also be aware that can be the Achilles heel for you as well, because this is where the working on the right thing at the wrong time really comes into fruition. For example, let's say you want to go from offline and now you're like, yep, let's go online. And you talk to some marketer out there who's quote unquote a coach, and they say, yep, you need to build a sales funnel and drive traffic to an opt-in, and this is what it'll look like. What I see, and when people come to me and go, okay, we've been trying this, we've built a funnel, we created this course or program or online whatever widget, and it's not working, it's because they've lost traction and they've lost connection with the foundational components of their business. And that's really identifying what does your client really want and what does your client really need. Mm-hmm. So because it's so easy to create a product or service and get it up there online, a lot of people I see totally miss this core concept of, are you delivering the right thing at the right time? What's your actual, we call this the ascension model as well. What is the actual product deliverable that you are selling in exchange?
Okay, so basically you're saying some of the considerations that someone who is moving into the online space needs to look at is what deliverable they're working on for that client or for their ideal client, right?
Yep.
In terms of creating value, though, do you think how do you think they should work? Should they look at the value they're creating or focus on the deliverable and then the value will come thereafter?
Are you referring to building your brand online, or are you talking about a company who might be already established and they've got a following, or are you talking someone who's just doesn't have any following online at all?
Okay, so they don't have any following online, but they do have a customer base. So they've been in business,
Sure.
Let's say they've been in business for maybe 5 years. So they do have customers, but they're now taking some of their business online. Maybe let's say they're let's pick a hardware store, for example, and they've had a retail outlet for the past 5 or 8 years thereabout, but now they're looking to offer the same services they offer in a face-to-face environment online, and they don't have an online following, but they do have that that face-to-face engagement.
Yeah.
And some of those customers may actually be hanging out online, but they're not they're not connecting with them online as yet. Yeah. So
with 1.8 billion people on Facebook, you can be assured that your customer is online somewhere, and especially on Facebook. Here's what I'd do if I was an offline hardware store. Presuming that you do have your customer list, here's a tactile thing I'll give you, and this will work for any offline business right now. Even if you do still have a following online right now, here's something you could do. Take your contact list, like your customer list, and actually upload it into Facebook ads, like in the back-end ads manager, and build an audience. Then I'd actually send an ad to that audience of customers saying, hey, we're online now. Come and follow us here, like our page. And what we need to understand is social media is purely social media. It's about the connection between two people. Now, we're not there to sell per se. I mean, that's not what the purpose of it is. The purpose of it is to be able to take them on. We talked about it, the client's perfect journey, but you must be able to educate and motivate them first. And that's where social media really comes into play. Some of the things I'd definitely be doing is creating regular connections. Like if you're a hardware store, for example, most people would look and go, oh, what could I even post about? I can't keep posting up about my power drill and this and that. I'll tell you what, there's a process we're using right now that we've just built another one of our fan pages to over 80,000 fans in the last, it's grown excessively in the last 6 weeks. And what we're using is video, which video right now is hot. I highly recommend everyone using video, especially Facebook Lives if you can find a way to target that into your business. But repurposing video. So there was a video that just went out recently, and it was about duct tape. And it was actually a very well made. Actually, it wasn't even called duct tape. It was like a competitor to duct tape, but it was such a very well made movie. And it was about they actually used this tape, and they built a car out of it and taped up a roll cage and everything with this brand new tape. And they flew it off a cliff, and it ended up bouncing around, and it was fine. That's where I start looking outside of the circle and go, wow, that would be a cool thing to share on your hardware page, right? Because it's not, and this is where, and I want to land this nicely, and hopefully everyone can pick this up, is too many business owners, especially offline predominant business owners, are singly focused on selling their product or service, that they're not thinking outside the circle. For example, I had a lady speaking at one of my events. She goes, oh, we own a gun shop. All we do is sell guns. I said, cool. Okay, so you sell guns directly. Yes, you can't go on Facebook and go, hey, buy this new semi-automatic rifle. Click here and go and purchase it. That's like walking up to someone in the nightclub and say, hey, let's go home and get married, right? It's straight away. It's not going to happen. But if you were to produce content, and you were sharing content that was around the hunting theme, the gun theme, etc., what you're doing is you're attracting your audience. Mm-hmm. And that is where the power really lies. Yeah,
true. Amazing. All right. So that's some good stuff that our listeners can definitely install in their business with immediate effect. And I'm a big believer.
And I'll tell you, it's working right now. This isn't stuff that we're using 8 months ago, 2 years ago. That strategy right there, literally, I just said, has built one of our new fan pages to over 80,000 new fans by just doing that method.
Awesome. Now, in terms of online resources, tools, website, or apps that you use currently in your business, what is the one online resource, tool, website, or app that you personally cannot live without in your business?
The two I couldn't live without is ClickFunnels and Infusionsoft, hands down. One that I like right now is Trello. We use that as communication through team. Trello and Slack are two that we use from a team communicative perspective. But those would be definitely my top four.
Awesome. And Infusionsoft is an email marketing program, correct? Or is it a little bit more than that?
It's a lot more than that. It's a very sophisticated software, and I wouldn't recommend anyone using it unless you, number one, it's a lot more expensive than the other options out there. However, if you know, and you've got, because if I'd have known this when I first started out, of where my business would be, I would have jumped straight into it, purely based on the sophistication of what it can do. So there's other ones out there from email services like MailChimp and Aweber that you can use if you're just starting out, or you've got a list that's less than 5,000 people. You don't need to go to the big boys toys type software for that.
Yeah.
Or else you're paying a lot of money and you're not using even 80% of it, because Infusionsoft comes with the ability for shopping carts and referral affiliate processes, and there's so much complexity to it.
So, Burt, share a little bit about some of the books that have had the biggest impact on you.
I think one of the biggest was probably one of the first that I really jumped into, which I put my hand up. I didn't read a book. Until I was 25 years old. I went through school. Actually, now I look back at it, was I learnt myself how to speed read. a strategy on how to speed read, but I just thought it was me being lazy, skimming pages, all of that stuff. But at the age of 25, I actually immersed myself in my first book, and it was called The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth. It was the first book that, like, I started and I was like, this is me. They're talking to me type thing, which is ironic because the E-Myth is the story about the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager, and they use McDonald's, as an example of, building a business that can be franchised and duplicated. And funnily enough, I went on to build a franchise, didn't I?
Yeah, that's true. So, is it the E-Myth Revisited or the plain E-Myth?
Great question. Read them both.
You've read them? Oh, read them both.
Yeah, read them both. I'm sure you can't go wrong. I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So our next question is, we have a lot of listeners who are business owners and managers who feel they have great products and services, but they lack the constantly motivated human capital. If you were sitting across the table from that person, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them to have a successful business?
What do you mean, first of all, by the human capital?
So the people, because the human capital is the human component of the business. The business can't work without the people. So they're lacking. Right. They're lacking motivated team members.
Okay, so okay. Well, here's something that I would suggest. First of all, is you need to connect with your big why, your big vision, your mission of what you truly want to be doing. And I'll share this quickly because I got a bit of a rude awakening to it. I started the online world, 8 years ago, going, all I want to do is make money online, sit in my undies on the beach and drink pina coladas, right? That was the vision that I was like, yeah, I want this. But what I really wanted, my biggest vision in life, is to stand on stages in front of tens of thousands of people and share the message that life's too short to not be living to your full potential.
True.
And then I sat there and I'm like, there's a bit of an incongruence here. Because if I want to achieve this big vision and mission of mine, I can't. There's no way I could possibly do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this whole concept now, and a friend of mine created this framework called the EPT, the Entrepreneurial Personality Type.
Nice.
A framework around it. And the first step is before you can the first thing as an entrepreneur is the question we ask ourselves is, how do we get ahead? So how do I get ahead? How can I help myself move forward? So when you generally hire your first hire, it's purely in the basis of how can they help me move forward? Right? It's a very selfish act, so to speak. Now, of course, we're giving someone employment and money and all of those things, but the reason why people hire their first person is because I need help.
True.
The next step moving forward through that is like, how do we both get ahead? How do I help you now as an employee start living to your potential? And that's what I think a lot of employers get scared about. They're like, I don't want to empower my employees too much. They'll probably get up and leave. And that was a limiting belief that I had instilled in me as well, until I had the conversation with a couple of different friends. And one of the comments landed, and it was like, why wouldn't you want people to outgrow your business? That's an amazing thing. It means that you've done a great job. You've helped them now go to their next level as well in life. And again, totally congruent with my message in life is helping people live to their full potential. I've got people in our company now that I know won't be here in the next 12 months because they're going to outgrow it, and they're going to want to, when you're around me, you're inspired to go and live to your full potential. And if I've got people in my company who are maybe sitting behind a computer and they're like, oh, this is not really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life, I have to understand and live with the reality that I'm going to inspire people around in my circle to go out and do something bigger and different.
Yeah, you definitely have to walk the talk, right?
Exactly. And I think, again, it comes back to not being afraid that you need to have an employee that's going to be a 20-year veteran at your company. Right?
That's true. That's true.
And that's why a lot of people are, oh, geez, it's so nervous to hire. I don't know. So look, the reason probably why you're getting freaked out is because you're thinking this is a life. You're not getting married to this person.
Right.
You're finding someone who can help solve a problem right now for you to then be able to help them get ahead. Then you work together to get the company ahead. And then the ultimate level of the entrepreneur personality type is contribution. Like, how do you contribute beyond yourself? And I think that's where ultimately every entrepreneur really does want to go. But it's about how do we get there first. And you're never going to get there. You're never going to be able to go over and build schools in Fiji and all these third world countries if you don't have your team to help you get to where you need to be. Because as the entrepreneur, as the assistant, as the marketer, you play every hat, there's no time. There's no extra time for this contribution because you're too busy trying to put out all the fires that you've already created yourself.
So true. Okay, Burt. Now, what's the one thing that's going on in your life right now that you are really excited about? Maybe something that you're working on to develop yourself or your people?
It's definitely my book. So this has been over a year in the making. We released it in October here, but I wrote it a year previous in November. So last November, actually, it's been a year. Actually, only a couple of days ago, I started writing it, 12 months. And it's what the book's message actually represents, because it's not a book to me, it's the message. It's what's etched onto the pieces of paper. And more so that now, because it's been out for 6 weeks, I'm getting tons of feedback. I'm getting people messaging me, tagging me in posts all the time on Facebook, just sharing how much of a change it's already starting to make in their lives, because it's a very practical step by step. It's not just philosophy. It's like, go and try this, go and try that. So you can start seeing momentum, because all we need to move forward and start living to our full potential is to start creating momentum, start creating steps right now. And that's what's really exciting. We've tied in also our Unleash Your Greatness Bali Escape, which we run every single year, which is an event we run in Bali. It's a 5-day event, and it's take people from all over the world there, and it's amazing. So I'm just loving being able to now be in that position of contribution as well, being able to, one, I'm still building a business. I'm still building businesses, of course, but to be able to now take that step out and really start to have more profound impacts on people's lives.
Amazing. Wow, that's really awesome. So where can they get the book? Where is the book available?
So you can go to rightnowacademy.com/book. You go there. If you forgot that URL, you can actually go to Amazon. You can find it on. It's actually in all major book publications, in certain bookstores as well around the world. But if you go to rightnowacademy.com/book, I've actually got 5 bonuses that I'm giving away right now till the end of November that go along with the actual book, consisting of our daily planner. So our Right Now daily planning method that we have comes with a training video as well. Our Right Now lifestyle planner, and a whole heap of other things as well that we're giving there for free. So the book's $9.95. You can go pick it up, and we ship it anywhere in the world. So.
Wow, amazing. And you said the book's name is Right Now, correct?
Yep, Right Now.
Very
why
easy.
Not you, and why not now? Yep.
Very easy to remember. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Can you tell our listeners where they can find you online?
Yeah, you could go to Brett Campbell, BRETT, Campbell, so brettcampbell.net, and you can find out, you can find your way to probably my social security number and bank card there if you dig deep enough. You can find out everything about me there, but I'm always, I'm most prevalent on Facebook. I'm most active on there, so, find me on there and drop me a line. Let me know if you've taken anything from this episode, and more importantly, if you've taken anything from it and actually actioned it and implemented, I want to know about it.
Awesome. Okay, well, one of the things that we love to do right before we wrap an episode up is to ask our guests what is one quote or saying that they like to go by. Let's say when they're faced with adversity or any form of challenge or problem. Do you have one of those? Maybe a quote or a saying?
Yeah, I've got a couple actually I'll quickly share. One of them is done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect.
Yeah, I think done is better than perfect is absolutely critical, because too many people get roadblocked and stage fright on the sense that, it needs to have this before I'll do this, or I'll have to achieve this before that.
Right.
And that's just a fallacy.
True.
And the other one is from actually Michelangelo, and it's the greatest danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving your mark.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Burt, for taking the time to share this wonderful information with us on our podcast. I'm sure that our listeners gained a wealth of information. And again, they can connect with you through your book. They can connect with you on Facebook. They can connect with you on your website. Are you also Burt Campbell on Twitter if they're hanging out there as well?
Britto Campbell. Yep. I'm not too active on Twitter, but feel free to. I think Twitter's slowly fading away.
Oh, really?
Well, that's just my opinion anyway. I'm probably well wrong on that, but I just think it's a scrambled mess of messages. There's really no structure to it. When you got people posting 50 times a day on their Twitter feed, it's just like auto posting. It takes away this concept of social, I truly believe, but that's for another podcast.
Right. It's a lot for sure. Okay. So thank you again, Burt, for definitely taking some time and sharing with us. I just want to remind our listeners that they can connect with us in our private Facebook group, Navigating the Customer Experience Community on Facebook, and that is for our past guests as well as existing listeners or oncoming listeners. We have conversations there if there are any questions that you have there regarding customer experience, regarding your business, regarding customer retention, anything at all that impacts on your customer service in your business, whether online or offline. It's just a wonderful area or community that we're all able to connect. And of course, feel free to follow us on Twitter at Navigating CX. So again, Burt, thank you so much. I enjoyed this interview, and I know our guests will enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your guests for listening and taking the time out of your day, which I know is, there's nothing more important than the time that we have on this planet, and you've just spent the last 40 minutes with us, so I appreciate you.
Awesome. So until next time, I'm your host, Yannick Grant. We really appreciate your support of this podcast. Are you ready to grow your business even more? Or improve your leadership skills? Or train your team members in the art of customer service? Give us a call at 305-848-0815 or visit our website at www.yannickgrant.com. That's YANNIQUEGRANT.com. Remember, 305-848-0815 or visit our website at yannickgrant.com. Our new online course, Mastering Customer Experience and Increasing Your Revenue, is now available. The link for this will be on the show notes of each episode starting September 7, 2016. The first 2 modules are free, so hop on over, have a look, and take the steps to increase your revenue.
Thanks for listening. For more awesome resources to take your customer service game to another level, head over to navigatingthecustomerexperience.com. See you next time.